All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to now get into talking about Dak Prescott. Talk about his injury and what that means for the Cowboys going forward. So he suffered a hamstring injury in the second half, I believe, of the Falcons Cowboys game. And yeah, it doesn't appear like it's going to be one game absence. It's going to be a multi-game thing, and could lead to him being placed on injured reserve, and that would mean that I almost said Cooper Kupp, Cooper Rush would be the quarterback going forward. Well, I mean, he's going to be the quarterback going forward regardless, but um, you know, depending on how many games Dak misses, but I don't think the Cowboys have made it official just yet. I'm double checking right now as we move along here. But yeah, I mean, it just keeps saying he's likely to go on injured reserve. So if that's the case, he's going to be out, till week 14, week 15, it looks like. And in between that, they play the Eagles on Sunday. The Cowboys do. They take on the Texans. Then they're at the Commanders, and they're home against the Giants. And then if Dak doesn't play in week 14, they're home against the Bengals. So, see a lot of losses in there. And look, it's kind of been a disappointing season for the Cowboys. It has been. Now, I thought that they were going to continue to be a good regular season team, but that just has not happened. Dak, looking at his stats this year, 1,978 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, 8 picks. Not as good of a year as last year. But there's a lot more issues with this team besides the quarterback. The defense, they can't run the football. I mean, how many times am I going to keep saying it? Coaching. So, I mean, you got to wonder if the Cowboys season continues to spiral out of control, and you're looking at, what are they, 3-5 right now? You're looking at like 4-8, 4-9, whatever. Do you even bring Dak? I mean, I guess you got to play him, but why even have him play when you're just completely out of it? But he's gonna want to play if he's healthy. But another thing I did want to bring up though, and I didn't realize this until we talked about it in the production meeting, but they panned to him while he was on the sidelines, and he was talking to I don't know if it was Cooper Rush or it was just somebody else, but he said, we bleep and stink, is what he said. And people are like, whether it's a big deal or not, it's not a big deal. He got caught in the moment, but is he wrong? Look at how this team is playing right now. He's not wrong. Now, you wish that didn't get caught on camera if you're him, but it did. This team does good in the regular season. It's not doing that right now. They have a ton of problems. And it's not going to get any easier with, this better competition coming up. Now, with Dak Prescott being out, they are getting Micah Parsons back, so I guess that does help on the defensive side of the ball. But even with Micah Parsons, even with DeMarcus Lawrence, this defense was not playing well. So, it's just, they're in a tough spot right now. And, I already talked about earlier this week of the cap hit that both CeeDee Lamb and Dak are going to have on this team going forward. They are just not in a good spot. I don't know what's going to happen. But I think even with Dak being out for multiple weeks, this season's pretty much over. I don't see how they turn it around, especially with the teams that they have coming up on the schedule. Like I said, Philadelphia, Houston, Washington. Those teams are better. Now, Houston has not been playing good. in recent weeks. But they're going to be getting Nico Collins back. So that's going to make them look different. They're going to be a different team. And they can run the football. Cowboys can't stop the run. So if the passing game's struggling, they'll rely on Joe Mixon. But C.J. Stroud has to play better. But yeah, that could be a loss. Washington looks like a much better team than Dallas right now. And you got a former coach coming back to coach against his former team. I think Washington's winning. And then you got Philadelphia. Philly should win on Sunday, especially with no Dak. And Dak usually plays well against Philly. Now you got Cooper Rush. Now, Cooper Rush did a nice job filling in for him a couple of years ago. He has done a nice job when his name has been called upon. But I feel like this is different. This Cowboys team, the Cowboys were in a better position when, actually a couple of years ago, Dak missed between like week 2 and like week 6 or whatever it was. But that Cowboys team is better than the one we're seeing right now. Now Cooper Rush is stepping in. They're 3-5. Got better competition coming up. The defense is not as good. Can't really run the football. Like at least a couple years ago, the defense was solid, and the running game was good with Tony Pollard. But it's just not. That's not what this team is right now. So I mean Cooper Rush, can he do okay? Yeah, I think he will be okay, but okay is not going to be enough. Okay is definitely not going to be enough. So this season, now especially with this Dak injury, it's unfortunately a lost cause for them. And there's going to be changes. There has to be. When it comes to the head coach, and you got to wonder, was paying Dak the right decision? I mean, I think, you don't want to see Dak leave because, I mean, you would have thought with the talent that they had that this team was still going to be a playoff team, and who knows what they could do. I mean, a lot of us already know because it happens every year. They make the playoffs and they get knocked out early, but Dak had a good year last year. And this offense usually is better, and this team in general is usually better, but it's just not this year. So, there's a lot of questions with this team going forward. And, next year, it'll be interesting to see what they do. But right now, we still got a lot of weeks left. I mean, maybe Cooper Rush comes in and he just plays like an MVP. It's not going to happen. But yeah, this season for me, the Cowboys season's over. It's over. I did have 2 NFC East teams making the playoffs. One of them looks like it'll be correct. The other's a surprise, and that's the Commanders. Cowboys are done. Simple as that. So, but, we'll see how long Dak is out. Still waiting on if he's going to officially be placed on IR, but I guess that's where it's going to be heading. And then, we go from there. Like I said, the Cowboys are at a tough part of their schedule. So, you got, like I said, Philly, Houston, Washington. You got the Bengals at some point as well with their passing attack. Not looking good. Not looking good for the Cowboys. But yeah, for me, I'm out. Their season's over. Their season is over. I don't know how they're going to be able to correct it. But let me know what you guys think about the Dak injury. Do you think the Cowboys season is over? Let me know. But yeah, it's just they still have they haven't played Washington yet. They haven't played Philly yet. I mean, they play the Giants on Thanksgiving, so that could be a win. You got Tampa on the schedule. I mean, you got the Giants and the Panthers on the schedule. So that's, to me, that's 2 more wins there. So that gets you to 5. But, Philly twice, Tampa, Washington twice, Houston. There's a lot of losses in there. I mean, if this team goes 5-12, that would be disastrous for them. We'll see. But yeah, it's definitely possible because the teams that are on the schedule are better than them. I don't know. I mean, maybe they. Yeah, I don't know. They're gonna finish with a losing record. They definitely are. But if I 5-12 might be a little harsh because maybe they could pull off an upset here or there, here and there. But maybe you get to 7 wins. They're definitely finished with a losing record. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, Dak Prescott, the Cowboys are gonna be without their starting quarterback for an extended period of time. So Cooper Rush is going to step in. Like I said, he did do a nice job when he has filled in for Dak in the past. We'll see if that can happen again. So we are going to take our next break. And then when we come back, we will discuss a player that will be hopefully returning from injury this week. And that is Christian McCaffrey. It's possible that he could be making his season debut against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the 49ers in general when we come back. Would love to see him back on the field because he is one of the best players when he's out there. So we'll get into that discussion when we return from our next break. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.